Hey, today I want to talk about what I would have done different if I started reselling right now in 2023. I started reselling a few years ago and I started on Poshmark, and I'm still a reseller on Poshmark, learning more about eBay. Only had one sale so far because I haven't really been putting anything else on. I'm concentrating on inventory right now, and if you watched my other videos, you know that, you saw it, but if you haven't, then welcome. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're here if you're back. Thank you so much. So I had a retail store till the end of 2021. I have been reselling for a few years, and now 3 years later, you know a lot more things than you know in the beginning. So in the beginning, I learned first, I started selling out of my own closet. And then I decided I was going to go further with it. And I did. And what I didn't know, oh, sorry, I had to turn on the heater. It's a little chilly. It snowed here. It actually sleeted and snowed. So that's what it is, sleet and snow, ice. So, anyway, when I first started reselling, I didn't know a darn thing about it. Had never thought I wanted to do it, never even gave it thought, and just started doing it. So I started like some other people. I just went out and bought things, blah, blah, blah. So let me tell you what I would do differently. Number one, I would buy brands that are trending. And when I say trending, I mean that people are wearing right now. Right now. Be up to date. I would be up to date on what people are wearing right now. And when I say that, I would do it through magazines or through social media or looking up trends. And some people get their info from getting onto the fashion shows, watching the fashion shows, getting onto, and that's how they learn. So everyone has their own way, but I would look at more magazines. I'd look at more things that are trending online, and whether it's online magazines or in person magazines. And I would also watch some runway shows, or not runway shows really, but fashion shows. The runway shows are usually a little bit too out there for me, and I can think of what kind of trends to buy from that, but not really. What I also would do is talk to the youngins, talk to your nieces, your nephews, your grandchildren. Ask what everyone's wearing the most. I remember last year I asked my nieces, and at that time they told me what everyone was wearing. So I knew what to buy more of. But in the beginning, I didn't. And the one mistake I made with that is name brands that were wow years ago. I bought thinking these are wow name brands, and they're not now. Name brands go in and out of style. Some people aren't even looking for brands. Some people are just looking for something that looks like what they love from the brand, and other times they're looking for the actual brand. So I would learn what people are wearing right now, the people who are going to buy the most, and that is what I would purchase. After studying it, which watching YouTube, if I knew what, and looking on the different platforms, study what I should pay, what's the highest I should pay for those items. And when I say that, when I first started, I was buying dollar items. I didn't even care what names they were, or I thought the old name brands were good, like I said. So you want to definitely know what you're doing before you go into it wholeheartedly. I think by thinking you can just go and buy cheaper things, you think it's easier than it is. Now, I don't think any reseller will tell you that it's easy. So know that going into. Know that reselling is not easy, especially if you're doing it full time. You're going to be home all day, and unless you're someone who enjoys that, it won't be good for you. Most resellers are, so that's good, but make sure you know that if you're doing it full time. Yes, you will be able to take your times to do other things, but I do think if you're doing it as a business, it is better if you have a schedule. When you can go out, when you can't go out, like you're at work. Maybe you take an hour lunch. I don't know, but whatever it is that works for you, that's what you do. But know that there's a lot of alone time. Doesn't bother me in the least, but it might bother you. The part about being harder than it is. You just don't really give thoughts to things, so I wouldn't buy so much inventory, not knowing if it was going to sell or not. I still have things from 3 years ago. I'm starting to donate them. I'm also putting things into bundles. But, yeah, don't buy as much. I would, why am I telling you that? I wouldn't buy as much. And I would also buy, if I had the money, higher priced items, like I said, and not just go for the really low ones, if I knew I was going to make the money on them. When you're dealing with trends, sometimes you just know, okay, this week, whatever, free people, or this month or this year, free people and certain styles. That's another thing. I wouldn't just hear a reseller say free people and go out and buy any free people. I have a couple of free people pieces in my closet for 2 years now. Buy free people, buy free people. That's what I was hearing. But I wasn't seeing that there were certain things that sell in that style, or certain colors, certain flair, certain street, whatever. I just wasn't seeing that because enough people weren't saying it. Now I think they do more. Now I think YouTube resellers do more because we all learn as we go along. If I was doing a video when I first started, I wouldn't have said it either because I didn't hear it. So learn as much as you can. And I did, and still it's taken all this time for me to really, really learn what people should do in the beginning, or what I should have done in the beginning. I also would have learned more keywords, because I'm even finding now when I'm looking at some of my listings that they don't have as many good keywords in them as they could. When I hear people sometimes reading their descriptions when I'm watching YouTube videos, I'm like, wow, that's not what mine sounds like. So just know how to write your descriptions, and it's very easy. I go into, sometimes I'll Google Lens or Pinterest. I'll put it in Pinterest and look to see what other resellers are putting it in as, or what other people who are selling online who aren't resellers, people who are just selling out of their closet, are putting in. Maybe they know better. Maybe they know the style numbers off the top of their head. Maybe they know the style. So I'm just taking a look at other people's descriptions and titles and seeing if I could learn from that. I wish I would have done that in the beginning. That would have been really good. And I'm also learning, and I would have put way more words in and not worried about anything. Just if I wanted to put in the actual description, the title first, I would have used every single word, every single space that I could use. Now I do. I literally get it up to wherever it is. I think it's 80 letters, I think, spaces. But when it comes to wording, I will word something here. So let's grab something. So these things are wrinkled over here. I have to steam them. But so this is a button down shirt. Or I just learned, no, this is not a button down shirt, but I learned that there's button down, button up. This is not a button down shirt. So it looks like one. So I may put in there looks like a button down shirt, but it's like a button down shirt type of material, etc. So when I look at this, I would definitely put in long sleeve collar, flare sleeves. Some call these elephant sleeves, but I'm not sure. I would put that in there too because I see that some people put that in there. I'm not sure if I wouldn't put in stripes here. I would put something in like stripe design. If I wanted to, I could put in horizontal or vertical. It's sheer in between the stripes, so I'd put in partially sheer. Of course, I'd put in pink. Anything pink now we put in Barbie core, ballet core. I would put in office wear. I would put in, what does this have inside of it? The number is actually inside the shirt. That's funny. I would put in office wear. I would put in business wear. I would put in career wear, just so that it has everything in there. Now let's see, does it say anything on here? It just has this number, so it's an ID. I'd put that in there. And I'd also put in, of course, first and tailor size small. And then I'd also put an S somewhere in there because some people look just under S, M, or L, XL. And it says 100% cotton. I'd be sure to put that in, even though I'm going to have the tag there. Some people don't notice everything in pictures. Also, if there are any flaws, and I do this now, I would, in the beginning, I would look to see, let's pretend that it's missing a button. It's not, but let's pretend. I would put in asterisks, and then I would put in flaw, or there's something else that I put in. I can only remember flaw right now because I do that mostly. And then I would write one missing button, only has 2 buttons, can easily be replaced, something like that. But I make sure that I put that in, and then I say, see last pick or last picture, because that's where I put it. I also would put in light pink and then maybe look up the colors of pink to see if there's a special color that is. Sometimes, not always. Sometimes I usually just put in the color. Then with other things, I would also just look up with this, I'd also look up what other people have. If I had something in front of me to do that, I would do that. So I would definitely do that. I would either buy a light to take pictures with from the beginning, or figure out the exact time of day where my pictures are going to look the color that they are and are vibrant and people want to buy them. And when I say that, when I used to take pictures, I said it, I think, in the last video, maybe even this one, I used to take them sometimes in the bathroom when it was the sunniest time of day. And then I would put them away. And what I didn't realize was they were not coming out the color that they were. So I'd also make sure that I check against the item first, because now we have all these great things that we could even do on the Poshmark app, lighten it, make it more of the color. So that's a good thing. I would also learn about removing backgrounds immediately, because it does make a difference. I have actually had people, when I do my Poshmark shows, say, how do you get your picture so professional? And believe me, if they were looking at the whole thing and things from years ago, they wouldn't say that. So definitely taking pictures, I would learn more. I'd look up more things on YouTube about taking pictures, because I had so many different setups. I had the long, wait, did it pull down? No. I was trying to get the long pull down, but that cost too much money. So I had one that you clip up, but I bought the stand and I would clip it up, which never looked right, but it never looks like a good white background. It just doesn't. Because I didn't really know. Everyone was saying take pictures on a white background or a cream color background. And then nobody was really talking about removing backgrounds, so I didn't know as much. I also, if I did have a cream color wall, I would just take pictures on that wall. Now, I do that with my clothing now. However, I still take out the background. It's just that it picks it up better. If you're not doing something that's cream colored, it just picks it up better and there's not all that stuff around it. But what I did learn after using backgrounds is I can take the picture anywhere of jewelry or shoes or anything that I want on any color background, as long as it's not close to the color of the item. And I can then remove the background very easily. So these are things I definitely would have looked into more if I knew I had to, and what I would be doing now if I was just starting. Let's think of some other things with pictures. Oh, and I bought a mannequin, and I bought things like this. Please excuse the nudity. And other things, I don't know where they are, that just stand, and I wouldn't have bought any of that, or maybe just one, because really most of my pictures are flat lays against the wall, not flat lays on the floor. So I don't even know if you would call them flat lays. But I also do still take pictures on the floor, on either a blanket or one of these white tops, depending on how big or small it is. And sometimes I don't even have to put a background in when I do it on the white. But know that if you learn about removing backgrounds, you can pretty much take pictures almost anywhere, as long as there's the right lighting. Because sometimes, even now, I take pictures when I'm sitting on the couch. And for any of you who are new out there, I do have a chronic illness, and that's why sometimes I just have to do this sitting on the couch. So I hope that's okay. And I'll take pictures right here on the couch with a light, and they'll be great. But then I'll do them without a light. I think they're great, and they're not. So just make sure you have the right lighting, whether it's coming in from the window, or whether, I know a lot of people who just do it with the natural sunlight. Now, beware though. Last year, 2 years ago, this is what I would do different. If I was taking pictures outside, I would do the same thing and check and make sure they're the right color. Because depending on where they are in the sun, they can look a different color. I'd also not to attempt to take any pictures on windy days. So, funny story. I can't even think about it without laughing. I was taking pictures of this gorgeous blue and white top. I still even remember. And I'm in the middle of taking the picture, and it's gone. And I can't find it anywhere. And it actually kind of blew away and onto a branch. And I wasn't looking that way for some reason when I looked for it. And I was like, all right. And here I am outside trying to take a picture. It's moving. Trying to take a picture. It's moving. Yeah, make sure there's no wind whatsoever if you're doing it outside. That's going to be part one because I think I spoke enough today. On the next one, I will talk about what could we talk about on that one? I'll talk about anything after that. How does that sound? Does that sound good? I can put part one on this, or I don't have to. Just know that it is part one. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. So many of you watching haven't hit this subscribe. And I know I am at fault myself on doing that to people that I watch, because every week I'll go in and say, am I subscribed to them? No. So then I subscribe. I can't talk all of a sudden. What is this hair playing thing? I don't know. You can tell I'm very comfortable. So that's it. Give me a like, subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned for my next one. If you like this kind of video, hit that bell and it'll let you know when I'm doing another one. And just know that I don't only sell clothing, but that's what I have a heck of a lot of. Have a good day. Bye.